Hello everybody, welcome to Bales Hay Farm and Ranch. I'm Trevor Bales. This is a YouTube channel about farming, alfalfa farming in Buckeye, Arizona. More about like just following me around throughout the day and all the stuff I do. It's funny, I'm hardly in a tractor anymore and I'm hardly farming. Just everything involved with my job specifically. No one else really wants to carry a camera around or we do more farming. So anyways, this is what we do. Now, before we get into it, you know what to do. Don't like it, share it, all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the great comments. We love it. It helps everything. Guess what? It's hay season. We're making hay. I'm sitting at a field right now. This is actually the second baled. The first cutting went straight to the dairy. Then the first cutting went to the dairy. The second cutting we baled. Third cutting we've baled. So this hay has been cut the third time. Part of my job, I go out to every truckload, every stack of hay, and I fill out a ticket and I put it on it. That way, here's a ticket. I used to be in the squeeze and I would load every truckload and I would fill out every ticket. And then send it in, and it takes, when you're in the squeeze, it's just a lot of time, a huge amount of my time, and it makes it difficult for me to manage the other parts of my job or the farm and work on other projects. So what I do now, I've got some good squeeze drivers. I fill these tickets out, put them on the truckloads of hay, and that really helps with any miscommunication or problem tickets. This specific hay is some stuff we custom harvest and purchase. We do quite a bit of this. And if those tickets are not filled out correctly, it causes huge problems for us. And it makes us look very unprofessional as business people and farmers. That's very pretty hay, because part of my job is determining the quality of the hay. This is a solid, very good number one. A lot of leaf. Very leafy hay. Great color. I like to look at the side pattern as well, which makes my life easier when it's just nice. I don't have to pick it apart. Nice hay. It doesn't look like they had to use steam much this morning. Sometimes I can tell this end isn't quite as pretty as it is, but then there's a really good leaf pattern. When there's a leaf pattern and the ends are kind of rough, to me, that means they had to use some steam. So now that I get out, I check the hay. Oh, I got my probe. This is a hay probe. This is how I check moisture. Yeah. 15. A little spot in there, it jumps up to 20. That might not mean, could just be, a lot of times the baler will pick up the regrowth and it'll show up in the probe. Ooh, 16. Ooh, 20. This stuff's probing higher than I thought it would. I thought it'd be in the 15s, but no more. See that stem is still, oh gosh, what in the world? That's got a probe high. Look at that. Ooh, 20. Come on. Ugh. 20. See, 20 is not very good. I don't like seeing 20s. Means there's a possibility it will, what I call tobacco in the stack, turn brown. 17, 16, 20. Ooh. A few people have asked what brand I use. Delmhorst. I guess that's how you say it. I like this one. They make a digital one because this one you can watch it move. The digital one you have to push the button several times. The digital one does show temperatures, which, I mean, for me that's not super important right now. It'd be more important later, but I don't know. This is one I use and it does me well. Now I get in here. 5, 8, 23, B and B, oops, W, F, 12. This will go to, how do you think about that? Loaded by Freddie, unloaded by Leonard. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stacks, 512 bales. So the barn that had all the number 1 in it is full. I've had to, I need to pick another barn. Oh, I went through and made a list of hay that needed to, of my barns and what had space. 6 is full. 4 is the one that's messed up, so we're not going to use it. 7 is full. 8 has a little, only 2.5 loads in it. We might go there with the next number 1. 9, the west half is full. The east half is full, but it's only the bottom. 10 is your mixture of stuff. I need to get rid of that stuff. It's all from last year. 11 has space. Just needs to be cleaned up. 12 has space, but it needs to be cleaned up. Okay. Oops. So I might send all this to 8. 8 is the new number 1 barn. See, if I don't make notes, I don't remember any of this stuff. So I'll run around and do this. It's 7:30 right now. I'll run around and do this to the stuff that's ready. Our guys can start hauling pretty soon. But we are going to be baling some rye alfalfa mix, and that, because of the ryegrass, they won't start baling that until maybe, hopefully 9. Hopefully it's built by 9. I gotta go measure a barn. Hopefully they won't be too crazy busy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stacks there. Oh yeah, there's 2 extra stacks, so that tells me every line of hay is a full truckload. Good looking hay. Very nice. Very nice. Hey Drew, I got this turbo on nice and tight. We're ready to go. If you're like Trevor and you've got performance problems, not me, I'm Performance Bales. Trevor's older and younger and much better looking brother. But if you're like that loser and you have performance problems, call PDI, Performance Diesel Incorporated, for all your performance semi-diesel needs. We're baling, 9 a.m. This is the rye alfalfa mix. Which just to me, this is the first cutting of this stuff is tough. It's got so much moisture. I always have to discount it because it's always my little cousin. It's always going bad just because we can't get it to dry down enough and keep the regrowth out. We can let it lay in the field 8-9 days. It's still not dry enough and the regrowth is just terrible, so we gotta bale it. I actually had to discount it. I got a guy that's gonna take they want to take 12 loads, and I had to discount it $50 a ton, which is a huge discount, but I need it gone. I've got a whole bunch of it from the first cutting. I need it gone. So this is the cutting that will sit in the barn, that will store up just fine, and will make nice stuff. Now let's go find it. The first cutting also, it's super heavy on the rye. It's like a 70% rye with like 50% alfalfa. This stuff is closer to a 50-50 mix. It makes it real pretty, this third cutting. A lot of nice grass, and you can see the alfalfa in there as well. This is perfect. That's what I like to see. We don't let it get this big. This is on the border, so it just didn't get swathed or cut the last time. This is just left over from the last cutting. Here's a good view of some nice leafy alfalfa and then nice pretty ryegrass. This is a great feed. It's expensive to grow though. This ryegrass requires a lot of fertilizer, so it's a pretty pricey crop. We've contemplated getting rid of it, but customers like it. But it's good for the ground because we go back to back alfalfa. So this goes from alfalfa to ryegrass alfalfa, and then we'll put Sudan in it, so it'll go alfalfa, rye, Sudan. Then we'll take it out, let it lay for like a month, put manure on it, and then start the process putting alfalfa in. Little on the heavy side, but that's okay. It'll make a nice solid stack. There's Pablo. Downwind. Woo! Dusty. What time did you bale the alfalfa? Last night or this morning?
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning?
Yeah.
So that alfalfa I was writing the tickets on, they started that at 4. That's why it was already all picked up. The ryegrass, like I mentioned, with the grass, we got to start later. 94 pounds. Oh, there's the new scale monitor. Right there. 90, good weights. A little bit of moisture, how much? 40%.
Huh? No, use
oh, you're not using that. Oh, see. So he's hitting 21%. So he's reading the piece right there. That's the Gazika. That's the white deal on the back. He's using that, watching the moisture. So you're not running any steam. Oh, those aren't green on the right. Okay. So he's not running any steam right now, and they're still hitting 20, which is kind of high.
So the grass, like they were,
the grass. Yeah, the alfalfa's plenty dry, which will be nice. So when you bale this grass and this alfalfa together, the alfalfa can actually absorb some of the moisture out of that ryegrass. That alfalfa's plenty dry. It's crunchy. So putting in that bale, get that 20%, 21%, it'll actually work out to where they're sharing the moisture, or the alfalfa takes on a little bit of that moisture. So it's still a lot nicer than the stuff that they baled in the previous cutting. There's a lot of stuff he has to watch. He's watching his flake count, which is right there. If you're used to running a small baler, I don't think small balers have this, but we watch how many flakes we're making. We like to keep it 14 would be the very minimum. 18, 19 would be the top. You really don't want to go, maybe even 15 is kind of low, but whatever, that's fine. So he's watching his flake count. He's watching the weight. He's watching the moisture, which those two kind of work together. If the moisture starts getting high, any then the weights go up at the same time. In this case, because he's not running steam, if the moisture gets high, the only thing they can do is stop. You can't change the moisture by slowing down or speeding up. But if it's plenty dry, you can change the moisture with the pressure on the baler. So he's watching flake count, which is 16 now, moisture 20%, weights 92. Then he's also watching the screen where the bales fall out to make sure there's no broken strings and the baler's still functioning properly. So there's all that. There's the cameras looking at the balers. There's his weights. There's the moisture, and there's the flake count. If he was running the steamer, he would be watching that too. There's not a lot to watch. He's really, when the steamer is running, he's still watching that gazika and watching the moisture. If that moisture changes, gets too high, then he can adjust the moisture at the steamer. So when the steamer is running, it's not like a piece of equipment that you've got to watch. There's not a lot of moving parts involved, so he's not too concerned with that. And two, these balers, when we didn't have the steamers, you could hear if something was not working properly. If maybe one of the wheels something was going on. Like, you can't hear any of that baler now. So he really is relying a lot on the camera, but he can't hear bearings, he can't hear belts, he can't hear chains, he can't hear anything. So yeah, so he's really got to watch that camera, keep his eye on it.